Hello everyone and welcome to Ukulele Underground University, Ukulele 102. My name is Aldrin Guerrero, joined by Mr. Aaron, the voice now commercial. What's up, Aaron?
What's up?
And Mr. Kahai, the legend Fergan. Say what's up, Kahai.
What's up?
So this week we are doing the first half review week. So it's been this is our 6th week technically, but we've been doing this for 5 weeks now. We've learned a lot of stuff. We are halfway there. So Ukulele 102, we've gone over a lot of stuff. We went from warm-ups to finger picking to learning learning scales. We learned chords to those scales. We learned harmony. We learned a lot of stuff in the past 5 weeks. So what we're gonna do this week is we're gonna review everything we learned, and we're gonna review by actually putting things into application. So what we're gonna do is we're going to write a song. So based on everything that we learned the past 5 weeks, we're gonna learn how to write our very own song. Okay? So we're gonna start things off by looking at what we did last week, just to make sure that we got all that stuff down. Okay, so last week was harmony, and we learned how to create harmony. We also learned how to use harmony to enhance melody lines, and we also learned some harmony patterns. So for example, we learned that if we have a melody line like Mary Had a Little Lamb, so for example, if I want to highlight a certain part of that melody, I'm going to use harmony to make that highlight. So for example, every time I hear the words, Mary had a little lamb, I'm going to add a harmony in there, and this is what it would sound like. So I'm kind of highlighting those notes, highlighting whenever I'm saying Mary had a little lamb, and when it goes to little lamb, and already you're gonna hear the difference. By adding harmony, we make those parts stand out that much more, so we highlight those parts in the song. All right, and we also learn how to do harmony patterns. So we learn the no gap gap, so no gap gap gap, no gap gap. So we learn all that stuff as well. Okay, no gap gap no gap. So just to finish it off there. All right, so we learned those harmony patterns as well. So I use that in my Mary Had a Little Lamb, you know. Any questions on that? Any questions on harmony and what we did last week?
People are just coming in.
Okay, so let's try to do one of the exercises that we provided for you folks from week number 5, harmony. So here's exercise A. So for those of you folks who downloaded exercise A, let's play that right now. I'm gonna play it for you folks first, and then let's play it together. Okay, it sounds like this. All right, here we go. Ready? 1, 2, ready. Quarter notes. Then go all the way up. One more time. Ready? 1, 2, quarter notes. Right? So that is one of our exercises that we did that week. How did you guys do on those exercises? Everything was okay? Those exercises actually show us the harmony pattern. So if you just do the exercises, we did 3 different kinds. And we showed you the patterns for the C and E strings. So that no gap, 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 no gap, no gap, 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 no gap. And we also showed you one in G. So that shows you the pattern on the E and A strings, and we also did one that is using the C and A strings as well. So, So it kind of helps you see those patterns that we talked about. I know it's a little bit before you can kind of get the pattern down or memorize the pattern, but doing these exercises is definitely going to help out a lot to make those harmony a lot easier. Any questions?
Yeah, Devin just said that the pattern or the exercises were pretty straightforward. It just took repetition to like.
Yeah, it's a lot of repetition, and with that, you can then you can kind of notice the patterns because we're just kind of giving the pattern to you. We figured out the pattern, and we're kind of presenting it to you folks, and it takes a little bit for it to kind of click and for you to memorize those patterns. But you know, with enough work, you guys are going to be harmony beasts. So you guys are going to be like Destiny's Child.
Yeah. My sister linked the video to the
Oh, really?
last week. So.
Say my name, say my name.
It was a Christmas song, I think.
Oh, never
and they
mind.
were
I don't know
actually
any one
doing
of
like
those.
acapella.
Oh, cool. So, you know, that's a great example of harmony. You guys want to check out like good, you know, harmony and good application of harmony. That's a 3-part harmony with Destiny's Child. And seriously, one of the best stuff ever. Also, we have a song that's coming up next month. You know, that's going to be utilizing a lot of that harmony stuff. Okay, so let's write a song. So what we're going to do now is we're going to take everything that we've learned and we're going to use it to write a song. So first up, let's warm up. All right, so if I can only do one warm up, is going to be the shake. And the shake is taking our hands, making those wrists loose, and just shaking it off. We're gonna do it 4 times, 4 beats. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and rest. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, 4, and rest. 2, 3, 4, and 3, 2, 3, 4, and rest. 2, 3, 4, 4, 2, 3, 4, and done. So that's kind of like 4 times, 4 beats. Just getting the blood rushing through our hands, getting ready to write this masterpiece that we're about to come up with. Okay. Next up is the worm. So I want to do these 2 exercises because we're going to be dealing with picking as well. So it's not just strumming. We're going to be doing some picking. So we might as well do the worm and the spider too. Okay. So with the worm, pointer finger goes on the 1st fret, middle finger on the 2nd fret, ring finger on the 3rd fret, pinky finger on the 4th fret. We're doing it on our A string, and we're gonna do quarter notes going up, like so. And we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, so on and so forth. And make sure to keep your fingers there. I don't want to see this pointer, then middle, then ring, then pinky. So it needs to be all in a row. We're keeping our fingers down. It is an exercise, and that's how we're gonna work those fingers out. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, 5, 6, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think I lost count. All that matters is the exercise, I guess. I can't count. I gotta go back to Mary Had a Little Lamb, something a little bit easier. Let's now do the spider. So with the spider, we're gonna put our fingers into groups. I'm gonna put pointer and middle finger into one group, ring and pinky finger into another group. All right, we're gonna place it down 1, 2, 3, 4 fret. Once again, just like the worm, and I'm gonna count to 12. And each count is gonna have a movement. When I say 1, I'm gonna lift up on group A. 2, I'm gonna bring group A down on the next string up. 3 moves the other group. 4 puts it down. So it's gonna look like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just like that Sesame Street song. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and not as fast. Here we go. Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's go down. So we're gonna do it reverse, like this. Get ready. Make sure they're moving together because they're a group. They want to move together. Don't separate the groups. There we go. 1, 2, ready, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's do one more group change. Let's do pointer and pinky finger, and then middle and ring finger as one group. So group A is pointer and pinky. Group B is middle and ring, and we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna count to 12 and go up. Ready? 1, 2, quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We're gonna go down. Ready, set, go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Right, now let's shake it off. 1, 2, 3, 4. Always shake it off, especially if you're doing warm-ups. After each warm-up or after each exercise, you want to loosen up the fingers once again, get the blood rushing through. Okay, so whenever you're doing these exercises, sometimes we tend to kind of tense up, you know, and when we have our fingers so tense, we have to loosen them up afterwards. So I like to just kind of do the shake a little bit after the exercise, or even after the two exercises that we did. Since we moved our fingers a lot, we used our fingers a lot. Some fingers might have tensed up during the spider. You want to make sure to loosen that up again. Okay? Any questions? So this was from week number 1.
Isn't there like you do it like a quarter inch?
Yeah.
To make it harder.
If you wanna challenge, you're gonna lift up a quarter inch like this, or like 1 inch up, like no more than 1 inch up. That's what it was. No more than 1 inch. It's for a bit of a challenge. Yeah. Thanks for bringing that up. For those people who are still like who's still suffering from the nightmares of our doing that exercise. I've gotten a lot of emails saying that, man, I thought I was pretty good with my fingers, but once I started doing that, don't lift it up, above 1 inch, it really kind of pushed people's limits. And after you do something like that, make sure to shake.
Yeah, because we started teaching people spider and the worm and everything,
Yeah.
and then they're like, "Oh, you're doing that again?" And it's like, try this then.
Yeah, they're like, no, how do you do that? Especially the last worm exercise where it's like the pointer and ring finger. When we do that, some people have a little bit of a hard time, especially keeping it together, and more so not lifting it up in above 1 inch. So, and I think what people are having a hard time with is when we do the reverse worm. So we do that 12, 11, 10, 9, 11, 10, 9, 8. So I still can't count up here. When they do that, because it's the pinky finger that gets removed first. So the pinky finger naturally wants to do one of these. And we're just trying to keep that pinky finger tame is what we're doing. Making sure everything is close to the fretboard. So keeping my pinky finger from doing one of these. That's kind of where we run into a little bit of trouble. Any other questions or concerns or comments on that?
No. People are saying that Devin said the spider is great exercises.
Yeah.
Craig curses you for them. Alan said it is hard, but it's helpful in getting fingers.
It is.
So.
And I've done this kind of exercise in a lot of my workshops as well. I'm glad that people like Craig and he's been doing more workshops live than I am. So it's good to have this exercise spread as much as possible. And to just give credit where credit is due. Actually, I love it that Craig gives me credit, but all the credit for the spider exercise actually goes to Mr. Hal Kinnaman. Hal Kinnaman is a guitar and ukulele and slack key instructor here in the island of Kauai, and he's the one who's introduced the spider exercise to us. So big ups to Mr. Hal Kinnaman, legendary around these parts.
I know, like if you watch Hal play,
yeah,
it's like he is like super clean with that stuff.
Very good.
He makes sure to be very precise.
So Hal Kinnaman, if you guys are ever on the island of Kauai and you guys want to take a private lesson, Hal Kinnaman is the way to go. I don't know if he's still doing it, but I believe he is. So if you go check it out, if you ever wanted to learn some slack key, definitely from that guy. Okay. Let's move on. So in order to write a song, first off, we need to decide on the key. So what key are we most comfortable in? And I highlighted C, G, and F. And why I highlight C, G, and F? First, it's is the three keys that we've worked extensively throughout this course. Second, C has no sharps and flats, so it kind of keeps us from playing notes that we're not too familiar with. G is because we only have one sharp, and that's F sharp. F, and it's because we only have one flat, and that's B flat. So I try to keep it kind of simple. We want to write a nice, simple song. You guys can write more complicated stuff later on, but for the sake of our 1 hour program, we're going to try to keep it nice and simple. And I want to just show you guys concepts, okay? We're going to figure out the scale. So we'll figure out the C scale, the G scale, and the F scale. And then we want to familiarize ourselves with the notes and the chords in that key. So I'm going to take my handy dandy whiteboard here, and hopefully it doesn't fall. So our quick hands, not just for playing ukulele. All right, there it is. So these are the notes that are available to us: A sharp, B flat; B, C sharp, D flat; D sharp, E flat; E, F sharp, G flat; G sharp, A flat. So we've already, we've gone through doing the whole half that you guys learned in the recent weeks in order to figure out the major scale. So here's the major scale for F, C, and G. So we have, like I mentioned, B flat. There's only one flat in the F major scale, and then we have the notes F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Those are the notes in our F scale. On our C scale, we have no sharps or flats. We have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. On our G scale, G major scale, G, A, B, C, D, E, F sharp, G. All right, so now that we figured out these for you, what I want to do is I want to write the song in the key of F, and this is why. I want to write in the key of F because it's not the key of C. It's not too generic. C sounds a little bit too generic. Nothing wrong with writing songs in C. A lot of people do it, but for the sake of this, of this program, we're gonna do it in F so that we're working with at least one accidental, which is the B flat right there. So we have F, G, A, B flat, C, D, E, F. Okay. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take these out of here already, and then I'll explain why I didn't choose G. So I did not choose G because let's take a look at the notes on our F scale with our ukulele. So our notes in the F scale, let's start off with our F note. G, A, B flat, C, D, E, and F. Okay, those are the notes in our F scale. Now, based on our F scale, we can also figure out some notes we can use on the C string. So we have... Now this is our C note, meaning that that C open string is going to be a good note to land on. So we also have this note. So we have the open C string 2nd fret, and we also have E. So we have the open E here. So here are the notes available to us on the string C, E, and A. Starting on the C string. So if you notice, if you've been practicing the exercises that we gave you for the C major scale, we have the only difference is that B is now B flat. So we can play something familiar, a familiar shape like. But then when we go down here on the A string, we're just playing the A string 1st fret. So we're kind of mixing it up a little bit, adding a flat in there in our key. But the rest of the strings we can kind of play the same notes. Okay, so something that we're familiar with, but changing it up just a little bit. So we're using the F scale. You can use that on the G, on your G scale. But with the G scale, we have this tricky little F sharp there. So of course, a lot of people are kind of used to this. But for those of you folks who are very familiar with the C major scale, F is a good alternate example. Okay, so those are the notes that are safe on C, E, and A strings. And what you can also do is to take this handy dandy fretboard chart that we have here and highlight the notes that are available on the F major scale. So I'm gonna do that right now.
Oh, that's not a highlighter, so.
Well, yeah, let's just use this. So we have open C,
Is that working?
D, yeah,
I have a
E,
real marker.
F, G, A, B, B flat. Sorry. Ah, no, I messed it up. Never mind. You know what? Never mind. Maybe I should have used something that you can you can erase.
Well, with the highlighter, then you can still see the notes.
That's
the
true.
note
Yeah, with the
names.
highlight, you can still see the notes.
So if you fill in all of the notes, all the Fs,
So it
all
looks
the
like
Gs,
this.
all the As, all the B flats, all the Cs, all the Ds, all the Es, all the Fs, you'll see everything that are safe to play on the whole fretboard.
That the ones that are highlighted now though, that's for
The
C.
key of C. This is for the key
Yeah.
of C. So you would highlight, instead of this B note right here, you would highlight that A sharp, which is exactly what,
Yeah.
what I
Yeah.
did
You
here.
kind of
How I kind of messed up there. So with the highlighter, you can still see the notes that you're playing.
Yeah.
Okay, but for the why I was doing it without the highlighter was I was trying to just kind of get my mind away from the notes and just thinking about the shapes itself.
Yeah.
So the shape is kind of what I'm trying to concern myself with, but notes, knowing what the notes are, very, very, very important as well. Okay, so now that we know what notes to play, we will try to familiarize ourselves with the chords that are available to us. So this we learned in the recent weeks as well how to figure out what chords sound good in that key. So in the key of F, 1, 4, 5, and this is same thing with all the major keys. 1, 4, 5 are going to be major chords. 2, 3, 6 are going to be minor chords, and 7 is going to be a diminished. So if I were to do that, let's write this down. So F major, we have G minor, A minor, and we have a B flat major, C major, then we have a D minor, and we have an E diminished. Okay, so now that we know what notes are available to us, this right here, and what chords are available to us, it is time to write our song. So what we have here is we have all the ingredients to make our awesome little sandwich. So this is our F sandwich. This is all the ingredients. Let's pick out which ones we like and which ones we don't like, because you're not gonna put everything in the kitchen sink to a sandwich, just the stuff that you like, right? I mean, if you're gonna make ham and cheese, just put ham and cheese on your sandwich. So we're gonna figure out what notes or what chords we're going to be using for our song. So now that we have these two, let's move on. Let's put this away for a little bit. Okay, so you can kind of see the reflection there. Any questions on that, on figuring out the key and figuring out the scales and the chords and such? So I think that was a lot of the weeks that we did on Ukulele 102 is just this part right here. So this actually takes up, I think, 2-3 weeks of the 5 weeks. Now let's pick a chord progression. So we learned this in the recent weeks as well. Let's pick 2 different progressions, one for the verse, one for the chorus. So here I provided some common chord progressions: 1, 6, 2, 5, 1, 4, 5, 2, 5, 1, and this corresponds to the chord family. And by the way, if you want to do that part a lot simpler, we always have this chord family or circle of fifths wheel to help you guys out. So in our key of F, we want to make sure to have F right on the top in the middle. We then have major chords F, B flat, C, minor chords G minor, D minor, A minor, and diminished chord E. All right. So you can download this wheel over on Ukulele Underground if you want to learn how to create yourself your own little spinning.
That also gives you all the notes too.
Yeah.
You just have to ignore.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
chords.
it gives you all the notes as well. So we have the notes F, B flat, C, G, D, A, and E. So just with this handy dandy little tool, I would have this on my ukulele case all the time if I'm a songwriter, because this kind of gives me all the notes and all the chords that I can write my songs with. So very handy dandy tool. Download this over on Ukulele Underground.
I know there's some people who said they like it for their own like in-person jams,
Yeah.
where like they go to the meeting and then the person says like, "Oh, we're gonna play it in F now," and then instead of like
here's-
scrambling, and
Right,
like,
here's all the
"Whoa."
chords in F. Awesome,
Yeah.
good job. So, we wanna decide what the chords are for the verse and for the chorus, and also we want to create some structure. How many bars is each chord gonna get? And do we repeat the progressions? And what is the rhythm pattern? So there's all this stuff, and we're gonna be using our board once again to do that. So let's pick two different chord progressions from our key and our chord family. So let's do 1-6-2-5. 1-6-2-5 seems like a good one. So here are the chords in 1-6-2-5. Here is our chord progression for our verse. We have F for 1, then D minor for 6. Sorry, 1-6-2-5, then G minor, and then C for the 5. Okay, for the chorus, let's do a simple 2-5-1. So 2-5-1 will be G minor, 5 will be C, and then the 1 will be F. All right, so those are our two chord progressions that we came up with. How do we come up with that? We basically took chords that are available to us here in the chord family, and how we figured that out is plugged it into that formula. Then we just chose chords that from that chord family. And there's some common ones. You can basically choose whichever one you want. You can choose whichever one you want for the verse and for the for the chorus. But for for this time we're using F, D minor, G minor, C, which is 1-6-2-5. And then for our chorus we have G minor, C, F, which is 2-5-1. Okay, so this I'm gonna mark it now. Let's just say V for verse and C for chorus. All right, let's test this out first. Let's check how many bars each chord is gonna get. By bars, I mean measure. So you guys have probably heard the term, oh, let's do a 12 bar, or let's do an 8 bar, or 16 bar. Bars are basically measures. So if our song is in 4/4 or 4 beats per measure, each one of these is each measure is gonna get 4 beats. So if we were to designate F into 1 bar, it's gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we're gonna switch chords. So F for 1 bar means that 1, 2, 3, 4. And then let's just say we want to do 4 bars of this chord progression. So F, D minor, G minor, C. So F is gonna get 1 bar, D minor is gonna get 1 bar, G minor is gonna get another bar, C is gonna get 1 bar. So I like to go with the even rule, which is keep the amount of bars to an even number. Okay, if we were to play just 3 bars, F, D minor, G minor, it's gonna sound a little bit incomplete. So this is what it sounds like with the 4 bars. 2, 3, 4, D minor, 2, G minor, C. That's what it sounds like with the 4 bars. There it is. Sorry, I got a little flat there. So if we were to play it just 3, so it almost sounds incomplete, like something needs to go there before we end and go back to our F chord. It sounds incomplete there. But if we did C, sounds like a complete, well, 4 bars. It's even. It sounds more complete. That's the best way I can kind of describe it. It sounds incomplete when there's 3 bars in it. It seems like it needs to go on longer. So how do we do that if we have 3 chords on the chorus? So what we're going to do is we're going to extend one of them to 2 bars. So maybe G minor for 1 bar, C for 1 bar, and F for 2 bars. So it's going to sound like this. Even 4 bars. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna mark it so that there's another F here so that I know to play F twice. Okay? I know it looks like an E. It looks weird because I'm trying to write it sideways like this. So F, D minor, G minor, C is our verse. G minor, C, F, F is our chorus. Let's try this out. So as far as structure goes, we asked, do we repeat the progressions? And what is the rhythm pattern? So I'm gonna say that maybe we'll repeat it 1 time. So it's going to be an 8-bar verse. So F, D minor, G minor, C, that's 4 bars. We repeat it back. F, D minor, G minor, C, that's 8 bars. And let's just say that we're gonna do our chorus twice as well, so it's nice and even. So 4 bars for the verse. Oh, sorry, 8 bars for the verse, 8 bars for the chorus. This is what it sounds like. So let's just do a simple down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Ready? 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, verse. F, 2, 3, 4, D minor, 2, 3, G minor, C, back to F, now to our chorus, G minor. Verse F. One more time. Chorus G minor. G minor. Let's end on an F. Our song's starting to come together, so I'm gonna come out pretty nice here. So that's our verse and chorus of our song. So if you're a songwriter, at this point, that's basically all you need. You can already write your song. Come up with some words, some lyrics to match that. For example, like F is the chord that we start with, then to G minor, and then C. Back to F, then D minor, then to G minor, over to C, then we'll hit our chorus, back to F, maybe we'll sing in key this time, maybe we won't, then back to F, G minor, and then C. We're gonna repeat that same verse. Chords F, D minor, G minor, C. And then it's our chorus. And it's our chorus. Yes, it's our chorus. We kind of sang it in key this time around. That was our song so far. I mean, you can already come up with some lyrics and write the song that way. You know, you don't even have to add fancy picking or whatever. And if you want to just do it like that, that's all you need. All right. So we figured out, the notes, the chords, came up with a verse and chorus, and then we wrote to it. All right. So far so good, but I want to write a nice song with a nice picking, maybe some finger picking in there, you know, or and some harmony on those melody lines. We want to come up with a good one. We want to be able to put this on some kind of album or something, you know, our imaginary album that's gonna win multiple Grammys and is going to be covered by Bruno Mars. So we want to write that kind of good song. All right. Now let's put this back here. And let's move on. So far so good. We got our we got our chord progressions, verse, chorus. We built a structure. Oh, one more thing. Let's do a different rhythm pattern. I know we've been doing down up down up down up, but let's do a nice simple down down up up down up. We learned that from Ukulele 101. So if we do down down up up down, and then G minor. For our chorus. So we got a nice little rhythm pattern. We got the progressions, we got the verse down and the chorus down. Now let's create melody lines. Any questions so far before we move on?
Yoda asked if you can
Yes.
do it in a reggae style.
We can. So just strum 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
You
1,
can do
2,
anything in a reggae style.
You can do anything. You can do anything that you want. All right, so you can do that. You can do the chorus in that if you want to. These are available to you. These choices and everything is available to you. All right. So now let's come up with the riff. So coming up with the riff, do we want to do finger picking? So in order to do the finger picking, we can stick to the chords and we can add notes from the scale and we can line it up with the rhythm pattern. So if our rhythm pattern was down, down, up, up, down, up, what I can do is I can pick random notes while holding the chord and substituting finger picking for the rhythm patterns instead of going down, down, up, down, up. Maybe I can do so down, down, up, down, up. So down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up. Now I know from week number 2 when we learned about finger picking, I can play whatever notes that from my other chords that I want. And also because I know the notes in an F scale, I know we can land on any one of those. So if I'm doing F, D minor, G minor, C, I can maybe add this A string 3rd fret because I know that's safe there. So we can do and it can be as simple as that or as complicated as and all I'm doing is just I'm adding the notes that are part of the F scale and I'm doing it to the rhythm pattern that down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, 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 up, down, up. And one of my songs, how's it go? Oh, it goes. Because I had F, A minor, D minor, B flat for that. So what I did was I played the F, and then I played the notes that are in that F scale, then A minor, and then the A minor, adding those same 2 notes, and then I'm playing these notes. Because this note right here is my F, this note right here is my B flat, and open. They're all part of my F. So that's a kind of an application. I'm doing something similar to that. Okay, so because we lined it up with the rhythm pattern, we got a little bit fancy there. We we added some notes from the scale. You can do finger picking. Okay, so we can add the finger picking in there. Aaron, you wanna strum this for me so that people can kind of see what I mean. So you can either strum it, you can add finger picking, or you can do both. So here's Aaron playing the strumming. So down, down, up, up, down, up. And I can do the finger picking. I can go fancy. So nice and simple, nice and steady. The consistency of the rhythm pattern helps us kind of line things up. I'm adding notes in there, but keeping it nice and consistent with the rhythm. Any questions? You can also mix things up. You can do maybe like the verse, just just finger picking. So this is the verse for the song. We're gonna do some finger picking. Yes, this is the verse for the song. We're doing some finger picking, but when it gets to the chorus, we're gonna strum along. And M land in F, we still can't sing it in tune, 'cause I'm making it up as I go. Then we go back to our verse. Or you can even mix it up in between. So you can do maybe one chord or one bar that's strumming. So you do F. All right, and I'm getting those notes from the F scale, just in case people were wondering how I got those. Like, how come he's playing all the way up there? It's like part of the scale. So any questions? You can use finger picking patterns to make sure that it kind of comes alive. Yeah, you don't want to be stuck strumming this the same 4 chords or 4 or 5 chords over and over again for the entire song. Sometimes you want to add a little bit of sprinkle of magic in there. So doing finger picking is the simplest way to add a little bit of magic as fast as possible.
Yeah, isn't Danny's song like that? Like it's
Yeah.
just like finger picking the chords even,
Yeah.
and then like it goes to strumming and then it goes back to finger picking.
Yeah.
So it really is John said, eye-opening lesson. Writing a song doesn't seem so magical now.
No.
And it's like,
That's breaking down that wall, breaking the glass or whatever. So, or peeking behind the curtain, I should say. That's what I should have went with. Peeking behind the curtain. Any other questions before we move on?
so John has like a very specific question about how do you know what key it's in. He knows the chords. But,
Okay,
like,
so if you know the chords, because of our formula, so I'm going to show it quickly right here. Because of our formula, 1, 4, 5 are majors, 2, 3, 6 are minors. If you know the chords, if you know the 3 major chords or the 3 minor chords, you should be able to figure out the chord family. Because no 3 major chord appears on no 3 of the same major chords appears on any other scale. So F, B flat, and C major only appears on the key of F. So if you have those 3, you are guaranteed in the key of F. If you have, for example, something else, maybe F, I don't know, F, C, G, like, so if you have the major chords F, C, G, you're gonna be like, what key is this in? There's only one key that has those 3 major chords in there, and that is the key of C. So if you can figure out 3 major chords or 3 minor chords, you can figure out what key you're in. Okay, no 2 keys share the same majors, and no 2 keys share the same minors. They're all unique in this sense.
Yeah, so
Yep.
the example John gave was
Yes.
Dancing in the Moonlight.
Yes.
And he said he knows it's G minor, C, F, A minor, D minor. And he might be like, oh, what, like, there's not 3 major keys, right? Or
Yeah.
there's not 3
There's
major
3 minor
chords.
keys that you can use
Yeah.
to figure out the
Yeah.
song.
Or actually, I mean,
So that'll
if
be
you
an
knew
F,
3
yeah.
chords, you could pretty much get it, right?
No, there's some that
Yeah.
say, for example, like F, D minor, C. You could be in the key of F, or you can be in the key of C, because C
Oh,
has
yeah.
F and D minor as well.
Yeah.
So you
But you
need
could-
3
you
majors
could,
or 3 minors.
It
You can
narrows
narrow it
down.
down.
Oh, you can narrow it
yeah.
down. Yes, you can narrow it down.
Yeah, and if you use your circle of fifths,
Mhm.
you could just scroll until you find those chords.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you show that?
Oh yes. You can scroll like, okay, C. What were you saying? C, D. Oh, well, I was saying C, F, D minor. So in the key of F, C, F, D minor is in there. But if that doesn't work, then you have the key of C, which also have F and D minor in there. So a key of F has those notes, or the key of C, and you can kind of narrow it down.
Yeah.
But
And if you look at the other chords that you
yeah,
know,
around it. So like I
you'll
said,
be able to,
it doesn't. No 2 keys share the same 3 majors or 3 minors.
My shortcut is to go to a major chord and then look is the chord next to it a minor chord? If it is, then it's like either the 5 or the 1, right? And then you figure it out from there. It's like either the chord before it will be a major chord, or it'll be supposedly diminished or minor or something. So then it kind of like, oh, okay, that's probably this key.
yeah. So once you kind of know this stuff on the board, you can kind of figure out the
Narrow
key
it down.
based
Uh-huh.
on that. So
And just if you guys want a really quick way to do that, definitely make yourself one of these. This is
Yeah.
the simplest way to figure out the chord family, the scale, all that stuff. Available in UU. Not even UU Plus. I think you can just log on to Ukulele Underground, make an account, make one of these.
Yeah.
Okay? Any other questions?
So John said in his circle of fifths, he finds that only B flat is missing from my song.
Yeah, so it's in, what are your minors? What he said,
G minor, C, F, or G minor, A minor, D minor.
so
it
G
is-
minor, A minor, D minor, that is exactly the minors that we figured out here. So we have G minor, A minor, and D minor. Those 3 minors are not going to appear in any other key but the key of F. So you are then in the key of F.
Yeah. And I think if you're trying to figure something out and you narrow it down to 2 keys, right? You can, and it's a pretty simple song. Like it's not jazz, because jazz goes nuts.
I guess changes keys all the time.
But if it's like a pop song, you can just you can try and play the scale over it and see does
Oh yeah,
this
that's
fit?
true. You can try it out. You can try to do the scale. But then again, if we're playing F, D minor, C, both those scales are going to work. So that's
That's true.
still a little bit tricky. Yeah, if you have 3 majors or 3 minors, it's easier to figure out the scale from there. Okay, next up. Coming up with the riff continued. So single note picking. We don't have to do just, like finger picking. We can also come up with single note picking. We can pick the rhythm of the melody. We can add notes from the scale. The best way to do it, just do 1 note at a time. Just come up with the rhythm. So here is Aaron Nakamura. Once again, he's going to play for me the 1, 6, 2, 5 from our verse. So here we go. So here's our notes to our F major scale. And I said 1 note at a time, so maybe I'll pick F. And I'll come up with some kind of rhythm. So maybe I'll just tap my ukulele for a bit. I'll do... wait till it gets to F again. There you go. Just like... Or down, down, up. Go F. Maybe 2 notes. Maybe 3 notes. fourth note in there. One note at a time is the best way to kind of, ease yourself into creating a solo. Once you can create solos, you don't have to do the one note at a time. But if you're a beginner at writing songs, I highly suggest doing one note at a time. And you can even do that if somebody tells you to improvise a solo, means make up a solo on the spot. One note at a time is the best way to approach it. All right, so we're gonna come up with that. So that's going to be our first riff. So our first riff, play the 1 6 2 5 for me again. So 1 2, here's a riff. So what I did is I played and I repeated it for 3 bars, and on the 4th bar, since we're playing a C chord, I ended it with the C instead of the A. Nice and simple. Okay, so if we're talking verse, if we want to highlight anything, let's go back to this board right here. If we want to highlight anything, we can also add more than one note at a time. So we're starting from one note, and we do another one. If we want to highlight stuff, we can add harmonies in there as well. All right. But for now, let's try to figure out the chorus riff. So the chorus starts with the G minor and C, and then to the F. So let's go back with our one note theory. And since it's in G minor, I'm gonna start with the G note instead. Okay, ready? 1 2, chorus. Now add another note. Then add another note. Maybe add this note right here, or so here we go. So G minor. That's a good one right there. We do. Now, if we put it together, let's do the verse and the chorus. Here we go. 1 2. 1 2, ready, verse. One more time. Oh, so here's the chorus. Let's do it one more time. So verse and then chorus. So 2 times. Remember, we said 8 bars for the verse, 8 bars for the chorus. 1 2, ready, go. So it's, we created the song using the minimal amount of notes. And to be honest, the songs with the least amount of notes are the songs that, that get stuck in people's heads more. So it's the less notes, the easier it is for people to follow, for your audience to follow, and for you to establish a good melody line. We got melody lines such as, and if we break it down, we have, that's all we have. So those 3 notes in there, very iconic, and it's not like there's a million and one notes that that you're trying to impress the audience with. The audience gets entranced by just those 3 notes in there, and then you're just playing that A minor to the flats.
And just finger picking
the chord. So it's nice and simple, and those are the melody lines that's gonna get stuck in people's heads anyway. Okay.
I know. I was like thinking of "Closer" by the Chainsmokers. It's like, oh my gosh, I don't like that song, but it does use that like principle, right?
Yeah.
Because like yeah, it's two notes or three notes over
Yeah.
and over.
Yeah.
There was a Brett Domino.
Yeah.
He does like how to get a hit song on the pop charts or something like that, and he pretty much like breaks it down like so many songs use only three notes, and so like if you use that as your basis, you'll probably get a hit song on the pop charts.
Okay, so that's what we did. We picked the rhythm. We picked the rhythm of the melody. Picking the rhythm from the melody. Adding notes from the scale and one note at a time. That's kind of how we did. We pick with the rhythm from the melody. So and then we did notes from the scale and we added one note at a time and we came up with. So it's seriously 4 notes. So 3 notes for the first 3 bars, and then just 1 extra note on the 4th bar. Nice, simple, and Bruno Mars, if you're watching, you can totally take this for your next album. We don't mind. We don't mind. Here at Ukulele on the Ground, we're okay with that, and we'll even waive the royalties. any questions?
There's a lot of people who are saying that they like this one note at a time principle, and even like some people who I know are like soloists or like trying to become soloists, and it seems like I think when a lot of people when they learn scales and stuff, they immediately try to pack as many notes into like a solo at once.
Right.
But we talked about it before, right? Like the most important part of playing or just playing in general is getting that melody line and making sure that comes through. So that I think that sometimes gets lost when you just try to cram notes into it.
Too much notes in there. Yeah, and there it is. So we have riff. We're pretty much done with that song. But here at Ukulele on the Ground, we're not gonna settle with just good enough. We're gonna make it great. And this is how we're gonna make it great. We're gonna come up with the harmony, and that's the last thing that we're gonna do. So we want to figure out which parts of the song to highlight, and we want to add harmony to those highlights. Okay. So if our chorus is, chorus is usually where the magic happens. That's the part where everyone remembers. If we're gonna look at some popular songs, Justin Bieber, baby, 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 that's the chorus. Everything else that he sings, that's the verse. But when he gets to the baby, baby, baby part, that's the part that people know, and that's the part that we want to highlight. Let's highlight the chorus. So if our chorus is. So we can do, and based on our harmony, because this is the no gap and then gap, so they're in our key of F, right? No gap, 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 no gap, no gap, 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 no gap. So if we do. But what I want to do is I want to establish the melody line. Since we're doing 8 bars, so the first 4 bars, if I just played it normal, and then the second time, adding the harmony in there, it's gonna create more of an impact. So we want to give them just a little bit of taste of the chorus. Then the second time the chorus rolls around, we add the harmony in there and it's gonna pop. Okay, so let's try it out. Let's go from the verse and then going to that chorus. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, go. Nice, simple, and effective. So that has been our song. So we wrote that awesome little song by figuring out the key, figuring out what notes are available to us, figuring out what chords we're going to be using from our chord family. We did a little bit of finger picking and strumming. So how about we try some of that? Aaron is going to strum the verse, then he's going to finger pick the chorus, and that's what we're gonna do. And that's how it's gonna go. You want to try that out? So 1, 2, ready, go. See the contrast between the strum and the finger picking pattern. There's so much things that you could do with everything that you've learned in the past 5 weeks. Just the first 5 weeks of Ukulele 102, you've learned how to create a song from scratch. And we didn't really add anything too much that we haven't learned in the past 5 weeks. So if you're an okay, ukulele player and you just watch Ukulele 102, by the end of 5 weeks, you're gonna learn how to create a song already. All right? Any questions? Last part, if you want to add bells and whistles, you can add techniques that you already know. So I mentioned everything in the past 5 weeks, but how about if you know some stuff from outside? Can I use a slide here, or a hammer on, or a pull off? So you can do... You can add the bells and whistles in there. Or you can do a... Or you can hammer on, pull off. So you can add the bells and whistles in there if you want. Okay? And that's pretty much it. So let's take a look at our goals from the beginning. So for our first 5 weeks, do we understand how scales work and which notes sound good or bad in different keys? Yes, we do, because we know how to create the major scale using whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. That shows us which notes are good and which notes are bad. So check on that goal. Next goal we did was we put for ourselves, can we find harmonies on the ukulele? That is a big check. That is a big 10-4 on that. We just did that, just a couple minutes ago. Next, are we able to create a simple song by putting chords from the chord family and scale notes together? Big check on that. That's what we did for the past hour. And have you met these goals? Big check on that as well. So all these things we learned in the first 5 weeks. Now let me show you for the goals for the next for the next 5 weeks. So we have week 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 ready and to go for you folks. And for those weeks, we're going to be able to create a song with advanced picking and melody. So if we want to add those bends and hammer pull combinations and tremolos and stuff, we can do that after the end of the next 5 weeks. We are able to attempt song lessons and solos with more confidence. So over on Ukulele Underground, we have all these lessons and all these UU Plus solos. We can attempt those with more confidence, knowing what notes. Based on if we know the key, we will know what notes to play. We will know what chords are going to come up. So we're not going to go in blind. We're going to know which notes go with what chord. So if we're given the chord in the beginning of the lesson, we should be able to do it just based on what chords we see. Okay. Next goal is to be able to improvise solos when given the key and chords of a song. So I showed you folks a little bit of improvising by creating it, but we want to be able to do it confidently enough to be able to do that on the spot. So if I were to say, let's do improv on 251, go. 251 in C, go. And we're able to do just that. All right. So we're gonna be doing this for the next 5 weeks. So first 5 weeks you learn how to play a song. The next 5 weeks you're gonna learn how to enhance those songs and how to come up with solos on the spot. All right. So that pretty much does it. And next week on Ukulele 102, we're going to learn chord inversions and extensions. So not only do we know our F chord, we're gonna get to know our F major 7 chord, our F7 chord, our maybe F everything, F diminished. Like how do we create all these awesome like chords, or F9 or F add add 2 or sus2 F, whatever it is. We're gonna learn how to create all those chords next week on Ukulele Underground University, Ukulele 102. Any final questions before we close it up?
I think it's all good here. I don't know. Is there any questions on YouTube?
Looks pretty good.
All right, guys. So this has been Aldrin Guerrero. I'll see you on the next 5 weeks here on Ukulele 102. Have a great one. On behalf of the rest of the guys, we'll see you next week. Aloha.
One-on-one coaching.
101 coaching after this. Make sure you tune in if you're a UU Plus member. Thank you.